So, as you guys know on this channel, I've been kind of recently getting back into Pokemon ROM hacks. I haven't played any of these Pokemon ROM hacks in years, and it's been a lot of fun. So, I just recently played through most of Pokemon Liquid Crystal, but if you've played Pokemon Liquid Crystal, you know just how crazy long of a game it is because you don't only have Johto Kanto region, but you also have the Orange Islands were added into it as well. So in this video, as of this current time, I have not beaten the Orange Islands section of this game, but I'll be going over the Kanto and Johto regions because in this game, it is just a remake of Pokemon Crystal, but a little bit, I guess, beefed up, buffed up version. It's you got quite a bit of a higher level spike for gym leaders and just trainers in general, and then there's also some added difficulty, some new Pokemon where you can catch quite a few Hoenn region Pokemon in this game as well. So it's a really fun ROM hack, and I'm just going to be going over how much I enjoyed playing through this ROM hack. So this Pokemon ROM hack, Pokemon Liquid Crystal, is a very old ROM hack. Like, I remember it probably 10 years ago or a little bit more when it was just coming out and I was seeing YouTube videos on it. And at that time, I remember there not quite being the Orange Islands added, or maybe there was just Valencia Island, but I don't remember it being completed around like 2012, but I could be wrong. I'm trying to remember, but it's been such a long time since I have seen anyone talk about this ROM hack, and I've never even played it, so it was pretty cool to hop back into it because I remember watching Flaming Spade, I think his YouTube channel was. I'm not sure if he's even still around, but I remember watching his playthrough of this game. Like, this ROM hack has just been around for such a long time. Like, it's an old ROM hack, that's for sure. It's definitely older than 10 years, and probably closer to 15 years since it maybe started being developed by the developer Link and Zelda. So it's a really good one though. You got Pokemon Crystal on the Game Boy Advance, so you can't go too wrong. And I've always talked about it in the past on some of my videos I've done on Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, and FireRed and Leaf Green as well. I just love the sprite work from the Gen 3 Pokemon games. Like, the sprite work just does it for me. I don't know what it is, but the Gen 3 sprites are just unmatched for me. I just love them, and I think that the Gen 3 games are the best in the whole series. I love Fire Red and Leaf Green. Those are actually my favorite Pokemon games, and then a close second behind is Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. So I mean, for me, this game is like a perfect blend of everything. I got that Gen 3 sprite work, I got Game Boy Advance controls, and then it's also, Pokemon Crystal. It's Johto region, which I absolutely love. I love Pokemon Crystal. I have the original Pokemon Crystal for my Game Boy Color, and I just love Pokemon Crystal. It's an incredible game. I also had bought it virtually on the 3DS, so I mean, the old Gen 2 games, I don't know if there's something that quite compares to them. Like, Heart Gold and Soul Silver were really good remakes, but there's just something about playing Pokemon Crystal, the original, that just is still so good. But this game is incredible. Huge difficulty spike compared to Pokemon Crystal, because those old Gen 2 games were not very hard in my opinion, but I'll be talking about that as well. So this game is a ROM hack of Pokemon FireRed, which, if for those of you that don't know, basically what ROM hacks are is you take the base ROM of like Pokemon FireRed, for example, or Pokemon Ruby, and then you change up different things and create your own custom Pokemon game, and that's what a lot of these hackers do. So a lot of these hackers are just super fans of Pokemon and want to make their own Pokemon games. Some of them custom regions, fake Pokemon, and this one is just, in this case, the hacker decided to make a remake of Pokemon Crystal, but with some souped up difficulty and new Pokemon to capture. Like, here I had a Shelgon and I used Salamence my entire playthrough. I also used Breloom as well. So a lot of these hackers will do similar things like that, where they'll just change up some of the Pokemon and different things. In the case of Drayano, he was a well-known hacker. I'm not sure if he's even still making ROM hacks anymore, but I remember back in the day, FireRed Omega was my very first ROM hack I'd ever played. Definitely, it's probably been 15 years ago or more, And so he has created FireRed Omega, which is a souped up version of FireRed with some added difficulty, higher level spiking of the trainers and gym leaders, and also added a new Pokemon that you normally couldn't get throughout FireRed. And then he also developed the Blaze Black and Volt White and Storm Silver, Sacred Gold, and also Renegade Platinum, which I've actually just started playing through. And you guys can definitely expect a video on Renegade Platinum because I've been absolutely loving it. It is a phenomenal Platinum ROM hack. So now let's talk about the Pokemon Crystal story, because the story has slightly changed in Pokemon Liquid Crystal from the original Pokemon Crystal. But basically all you have is you have the addition of a new team, Team Saturn, and then you have the addition of a couple new rivals in Axel and Zane, and they're just kind of extra battles that are sprinkled in throughout. And the first few battles against both of them were fairly difficult, but as I got a better team kind of developed, then they were a piece of cake. Like, all the rival battles weren't that hard, and then you still have Silver as another rival. So I mean, that's kind of the new changes, I guess, and then the addition of a lot of Hoenn region Pokemon into this game. But those are kind of the main changes throughout the regular story of going through Johto and then Kanto. But there is quite a few changes that happen after, because obviously in the original Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, you never had the Orange Islands after. You never had anything like that, so that was added into this game. Not only is there the addition of Hoenn Pokemon, but there's also the addition of changing up how you evolve certain Pokemon. So with the case of Haunter and Kadabra, you used a Moonstone to evolve them into Alakazam and Gengar instead of having to trade them, because obviously that's just a nice kind of easy way for players to evolve them rather than having to play the entire game without being able to really use any of those, because obviously with it being a hack, there's not going to be any trading unless if the hacker actually developed some kind of way that you could trade with other players. But yeah, so that was kind of some nice, I guess, changes that made it much better for the players. So I really enjoyed that, because then I was able to use Gengar and Alakazam, which are a couple of my favorite Pokemon, because I just absolutely love Gengar and Alakazam. So that was a very, very nice change. Now, is the difficulty really that crazy? I didn't really think so. Like, there was parts in the game where the levels just spiked up crazy, and I was like, holy smokes, I gotta do some grinding to get my team kind of caught up. But the levels weren't insane. Like, to put it in perspective, in the original Pokemon Crystal, Gold, Silver, Crystal, Lance, at the end of the Elite Four, for the first time you go up against Lance, I mean, and same as in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I guess, his whole team is like late level 40s, early level 50s, whereas in this game it was like late level 50s, early level 60s. So I mean, call it about a 10 level spike by the end of the game for the Johto region anyways, and then by the time I ended up reaching it to the Kanto region, then Trainer Red was, I think his entire team was actually the exact same level that it was in the original Pokemon Crystal. So it was exactly the same team as what he had in Pokemon Crystal, which is very, very interesting. So that was pretty good, because I guess by the time I ended up beating Kanto in this game, my team was definitely underleveled for that battle. Like, they were all in the mid-level 60s, high-level 60s kind of a thing. And then there's Red with all of his level 80 Pokemon, high-level 70 Pokemon. So by that time, I was definitely underleveled for sure. And I was a little bit underleveled for the first time going up against Lance and against the Elite Four. But once I kind of found out, I don't know if the hacker probably intended to do this, but the experience share, if you equipped it, then your Pokemon holding the experience share got the exact same experience as it would normally get if it just defeated the Pokemon on its own. So once I found that out, it made it a lot easier to keep my team up to the levels of the game with how the level spike was. But I mean, another reason why I love playing Pokemon ROM hacks is for the added challenge, because a lot of them are quite a bit more difficult than your regular Pokemon games. So that's also why I just really enjoy playing ROM hacks, especially the ones that have up difficulty, because I like a bit more of a challenge in my Pokemon games. Because the regular ones, I mean, they're not terribly hard. anymore. When I was a kid, they were, but now as an adult, I mean, they're pretty easy games. So I like the added challenge of a lot of the ROM hacks. So I like to a lot of times keep my team kind of sort of underleveled, but I kind of like to keep my team underleveled anyways to give myself a bit more of a challenge. But as you saw there's the addition of some new legendary battles, mainly Latios and Latios that you could capture, and then also Kyogre was a encounter on your way to the Orange Islands. So there's a few Hoenn region legendaries that I ran into so far. I know that the Reggies are definitely in this game because there is a little bit of a side quest after you finish taking down all the Kanto gym leaders and all that end of the story. Then there's a bit of a side quest where you find out that Axel is actually a undercover like police worker, and then you're hunting down a bunch of Team Saturn, trying to take them down, and they're trying to take on a bunch of legendaries. So there was that added into the story as well. So yeah, no, there was a few little extras that you did when you got to Kanto. For the most part, the only differences at the start of the game when I was in the Johto region were just they had a few new rivals and new Pokemon to capture, but once you hit Kanto region, then there was quite a bit of changes, especially when you ended up finishing off the Kanto region. Then everything was new. The Orange Islands so far have been pretty interesting. I was kind of starting to lose a little bit of interest though. The game was getting too long for my personal liking, but I'll definitely go back and play the game kind of leisurely here and there, and I might do a video on the Orange Islands as well once I end up beating that. But yeah, for the most part though, I mean, the Johto Kanto region, like, very, very well done remake. I mean, Game Boy Advance sprites and Pokemon FireRed as a base was really, really good for this game, and it was just a very, very fun ROM hack to play through. Like, it was so much fun to play through Pokemon Crystal, but a bit of a harder version, and especially after all these years with me not never playing Liquid Crystal, but watching videos years and years ago on this game. So that was pretty cool to go back and finally play it. But yeah, as you can see now, this is the rematch against Lance, the second battle after beating all the gyms in the Kanto region, that the level spike in this game definitely is quite high. Like, Lance has level 70s, high level 60s, and level 70 Pokemon on his team the second time, which is definitely a lot higher than it is in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver when you do the rematches. Like, I don't remember them being that high leveled. So it was a nice little added challenge, but still not a crazy difficult ROM hack. Like, it's no Kaizo. I know the Kaizo ROM hacks are just meant for their challenge. They're really, really difficult ROM hacks. So I know that those games, if you want a challenge, play those games. But this game is just a very nice little remake of Pokemon Crystal with a few added in extras. Overall though, definitely a phenomenal ROM hack, and I highly recommend you guys check it out if you're at all into playing Pokemon ROM hacks. It's definitely worth a playthrough, lots of fun. My only kind of issue I had is I was just getting a little bit tired by the time I had beaten the Kanto region. It was a very, very long game. And with the added Orange Islands, it just definitely makes it really, really long, especially now that my entire team and all the enemy trainers are all level 90, like high 80s, level 90 at the point I'm in the game. So I'm sure it'll all end up being like level 100s by the time I actually end up beating the game. But definitely let me know if you guys have played this game or if there's any other ROM hacks you think I should check out. And right now I'm just playing through Pokemon Renegade Platinum and really, really enjoying it. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below if you guys have played this or if there's any other games you guys would like to see me check out. And I'm definitely open to game suggestions for sure. But to end off this video, I'll let the battle against Red, the final battle of the original Pokemon Crystal, I guess you could call it, play out here. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one.